Welcome to Connect Her, the Bold Life podcast with Kristy Jackson, where we talk all things leadership, innovation, faith, and economic opportunity with real conversations that matter. I am your host, Kristy Jackson, entrepreneur, speaker, and your go-to connector for stepping into your big, bold purpose. So here we will keep it warm, authentic, and unapologetically real because playing small is not an option. So today I am so excited to share my guests with you. And yes, I am sharing my guests with you because these are such amazing women that I have had the opportunity to get to know over time. Shannon James, who I had the beautiful opportunity to work with at a company that we worked with together. Shannon James is a financial advisor, BFA, with Riverside Wealth Advisors, and Sheila Phillips, grant professional, owner, and CEO of SMP Nonprofit Consulting. Now, today we're going to be talking about a topic that everybody has an interest in, that everybody can relate to, whether you're an entrepreneur, scholar, regular community member, woman, man, because it's all about the dollars. We're going to be talking about the funding formula. And as an entrepreneur, oftentimes we're not sure what that formula looks like. So we're going to be talking about grant writing and financial success wins, some of the secrets. So let me just say welcome to both of you. And I want to start with your money story. Isn't that something? Your money story shapes how you see money. So you might talk about how you got here as a professional that is supporting, relating to funding, or your personal money story. I'd love to hear either one. So Shannon, would you kind of start, and then Sheila, we'll let you share yours.
I love it. My money story.
What is your money story?
I'm going to share real quick. It's really funny because one of the questions that was asked in my first day of training as an advisor was, what was your first memory of money? And I had to think back, and I go, oh my God, that's...
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a
thing.
thing.
When I said, oh my God, I said, well, I'm not going to share that story.
We all have them.
Right? I'm not going to share that story.
Yeah.
But I had to go, I went somewhere deeper. But I realized that my shame in my initial response had a lot to do with how I was raised with money and our concepts of finances and what we could and couldn't have. And so, with that being said, we started really humble, right? Family, humble, beautiful grandmother. We all lived in the same community. I mean, we literally could go to any family member's house.
Yes, I remember
as a
those
young
days.
adult, and within a 2-block radius, right?
Yeah,
and that's where we were. But then, my mother made a decision after reading a book, Black People's Guide to Wealth in America, I believe it was, and that's when she decided she was going to do something different. She went in trade school. She became an architect and eventually became a business owner. And we started seeing money a little bit differently. Now, to kind of shift forward even more, having money coming from no educational background, no financial literacy, and then owning a business, making really good money, consistent work. It's not like, it wasn't hustle culture, so to speak. But, that whole real business, buying buildings and refurbishing and building on and expansion and growth. And we were like, oh my God, we've got it made.
Yeah.
Come 15 years in, I'm in my 30s. My mother's in her 50s. And we recognized at that point that there was no actual financial plan in place. And we only recognized it because one young man walked into our office and said, hey, do you have a 401k? Do you have a Roth IRA? And as the director of the program, I'm thinking, no.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
You know, I've stepped out and had other jobs, and I had 401ks from those things, so why don't I have it here? That conversation led to us having our very first retirement plan for ourselves, including my mother, and our staff. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Transformational.
Short time after that, I met with a thriving advisor. Oh, my gosh. And the things that I learned from that conversation led me to, having a totally different conversation about money. It became about actually having a plan.
Yeah.
Making conscious decisions about what we were doing with our finances. And that's what led me into this career. I trust God in all things. And, when it comes down to it, the only way that we as a people can grow financially is if we do it together, right?
Yeah, we often hear about, this wealth gap, and it is such a huge generational gap. But we have to start somewhere with knowledge, right? And I mean, just your story about, this beginning of your introduction to how you felt about money, right? I mean, it can be intimidating and it can shape your path, right? So, Sheleia, what was that like for you?
So I would say I really didn't get into a mature understanding about money until I was in business for myself. So grew up, I am the youngest of two. I'm the baby, 10 years apart. So I grew up watching a lot of adults manage money. So that set my money mindset. However, it wasn't the same path. So everyone had a 9 to 5. My mother's an entrepreneur, but I didn't get to see the business side of it. So here comes the pandemic. I'm a great resignator. And I'm like, oh, this is different. You go from having a paycheck every 2 weeks and the taxes are taken out and like you said, retirement is taken out. And then when I'm a business owner, I'm like, not only do I have more autonomy over how much money I'm making, but now I have to be more responsible. And that was a journey for me that took me about a year to really get a grasp on. And I heard someone say once, it's two things that you need to understand in business. One, when good people have money in their hands, they can do a lot of good things. So not only was I excited, because just by the nature of the work that we do, we can help bring or be resource mobilizers in the community to bring those funds in. But also, it gave me a different perspective on when I'm successful in business, I can help other people.
Yes, paying it
not just
forward.
my clients, but then I can also sow into my local faith community through me managing and stewarding finance as well.
Yes.
And then you also have to be mindful, and this was a thing for me, making sure that as I'm stewarding these things, I'm setting myself up for the future. So it's not just like as soon as I'm telling y'all that first big check, I'm like, oh, this all comes to me. And I'm like, wait, no, I have to set out percentages. So you have to have a sense of business acumen at all stages.
Yes. So good.
And you have to be okay with the fact that when you're a business owner, it is probably the most intentional on-the-job training and personal development that you will ever have in your life. So my limitations about what I thought I could do, what I thought I could manage, how much money I thought I could make. So charging according to value and the, what all goes into the
even
work.
how much you could make. Somebody asked me, and I think it was with Thriving, how much money or I heard it in that space, how much money do you want to make as an entrepreneur?
That's it.
And I never even, being an entrepreneur, I never even fathomed that I could make that choice. That it was how much people wanted to pay me was what the option that I had, you know?
Yeah.
So I can totally relate to that.
And it's a space where once you open your mind up to it, entrepreneurship, if you can, and that's what you call to, because I think those are two important factors. It's a way of emancipating ourselves from just generational patterns. So that's what I'm trying to do now.
Yeah.
So I can't say I'm at the end of my money story. It's ever evolving.
Right.
But I'm glad that I got it now where I have the fortitude to learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and I want our audience to realize that, in real authenticity, that it is a journey.
It is.
You are
It
going to
is.
continue to learn and evolve, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are some that get this information and this knowledge. There are families that have wealth advisors, financial advisors, and I think I saw this on a documentary where they have like these annual family meetings, where they come
that's
together
good.
and they talk about their financial plan for their family, but also the individual families have a financial plan. And those are things that we just don't see or we just don't do.
Yeah.
We talk about it and we may put it on a vision board, but to actually put a strategic plan together for saving, for investing, researching, we just don't do that, you know? So I want to ask you, Shannon, what are some of the biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to building wealth?
That's a great question. The biggest mistake that people make in building wealth is that failure to recognize their own values and the value of having a clear financial plan. Without a clear goal and a structured approach, there's just no way for us to not impulsively spend, and we miss opportunities for growth. That would be the biggest plan. And that leads, that would be the biggest mistake. And that leads to lack of budgeting, delaying investing, failure to diversify. It also, it's rooted in these emotional decisions making processes around finances. And so when we don't think about the value of that plan, it leads to these upcoming failures of actually growing your wealth. We don't think about the tax implications, or we underestimate expenses, and we actually procrastinate when it comes to saving and planning for whatever those financial what ifs.
Because those what ifs will happen.
Exactly.
They actually will happen. And another misconception, I think, at least what I had, was that you had to be rich to have a financial advisor. Like you had to have a lot of money to, to have someone to manage your funds. But you're saying that it's having a plan. Having the plan so that when the money comes, because it is going to come, I've also heard it said that we are all millionaires. I mean, if you started working at the age of 16, 18, by what?
Like
30, 40, 50? I mean, you done made $1 million.
We are multimillionaires.
At this point, what I'm saying? We made it.
Yeah.
But do we still have it to show? No. Is it in our portfolio? No. Because we didn't make a plan, So it's never too early to make that plan, Shannon. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
There's an old adage. It says the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best time is now.
So good.
Right?
So good.
Right?
Yeah.
So good.
Right?
Yeah.
So, now, everything before today, it doesn't matter when it comes to your finances. Why? Because this is a starting point. Recognizing the realness of what you have, who you are, where you want to go, and what's most important to you, that leads into tomorrow.
That's good.
Shannon, you didn't say anything about having a lot of money. You just said understanding what your goals are, who you are, what are your values. That you didn't say you have to have so many dollars to start this process. You just have to know what matters to you.
That's it.
So to me, that removes the barriers that we think we have as it relates to having a financial plan.
Absolutely.
Okay. So,
Absolutely.
ladies, gentlemen, no excuses.
None.
No excuses.
No excuses. If you know what matters to you,
Yeah.
then you can start that plan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
my
best part
gosh.
about having a financial advisor, or meeting with a financial advisor, having one conversation with a financial advisor one-on-one, the best part is that you get to see
Yeah.
immediately what you can do with whatever you have. Right?
So good.
That's good.
And there's a discipline to that. It's a skill and it's discipline to that. Because I think about, you talked about entrepreneurs and that it's a calling, and that I'm thinking about like nonprofit leaders and small businesses and their understanding of funding that they get for their businesses. And
Right.
grant funding is
Right.
one of those opportunities. Well, it's kind of like, the kids. I've gone to the store with my kids when they were younger, and they're like, Mommy, just use that card. There's free money. They're thinking there's like free money. Just use your card. And I'm like, there has to be money on the other side of that, So grant funding, I know that there are so many misconceptions about the free money that you get, as it becomes, as it relates to grant funding.
Yeah.
But what do people need to know about grants and how they can position themselves in understanding the discipline around finances?
Well, first I start with the whole misconception of free money. Just because the funding doesn't have to be paid back doesn't mean that it's free. And I look at that from a couple of different angles. Number one, there's a lot of red tape when it comes to grant funding that people don't realize. So when you secure a grant, a funder's like, hey, we love your program, we want to invest. Essentially, the grant that you write turns into a contract. So there's
Looking at
it's
that.
expectations on both sides. So what they're saying is, in this mutual partnership, in exchange for these dollars, we're expecting you to do X, Y, and Z. And it's not something that is, it can evolve if you have a good relationship, but your original plan is your original plan that's in the contract. I also think of free in this other side of the sense of we have time, talent, or treasure. So how much time you putting in that grant proposal, that's not free. And how much treasure are you putting into it? Who are your people that are going to help you with this program, with this initiative that you have? So let's totally debunk the whole phrase, throw it out the window of free money, because it doesn't have to be paid back. Let's just stop there.
Okay.
The second part of your question that I want to answer is, how do we position ourselves? So the first thing that a lot of people stop at is like, oh, I legally qualify. So I'm a 501c3, I'm an LLC, I'm an S Corp, and that's just one piece of the puzzle, and that's that you're legally eligible to apply. From there, we want to make sure that you have a clear vision. We talked about that strategic plan and that business plan, and a lot of folks have a good idea up here but don't have it in black and white.
Yes.
And any grant that you have, you're going to have to articulate that. I say, if you can follow instructions well and you can respond to those prompts, you can write a grant. For some of us, it's a gift. I get it. It's a reason I've been in this field for as long as I have. It's a gift. But if, let's just say it's not your gift and you still have to do it, because when you're an entrepreneur, you're a new ED, you have an excess of time or money. Typically at the beginning, we don't have a lot of money, so we got to invest a lot of our time, right?
True.
I say, get your house in order. So have a plan. The Bible says, write a vision, make it plain, so that others can run with it, not just you.
Yeah.
So if I'm a funder, I'm wanting to invest, I got to understand what you're doing from part A to Z. I encourage clients all the time. It's not just about the emotion of it. So, hey, we want you to invest, whether you're a business owner or a nonprofit. It's about the vision that you can articulate. So being strong in that is my primary recommendation. My second recommendation is making sure that your financial house is in order.
Yes.
So even if you have a wealth plan and you're like, hey, this is our budget, what are you doing with the money that you're currently stewarding? And that's on both the nonprofit and for-profit side. So anytime you're turning in a request, they typically ask for not only your budget, but if you have some audited financial statements. As a business owner that have applied to grants, I not only have turned in that budget, but it's profit and loss statements, things like that. And they ask you specific questions like, hey, if we invest these dollars, how do you manage it? What are the systems that you use?
Yes.
Who do you have as an extra set of eyes to maintain financial integrity? So have your financial house in order. And then I would just say, make sure that you have the staff and the capability. So if I'm asking for $100,000 grant and it's just me, I'm probably 9.9 times out of 10, I'm not going to be successful. So I would say assess, and we call this grant readiness in our line of work. Assess if you're really, truly ready, and know that grants aren't your base case.
Yes.
So folks like, I just started out, I'm going to get a grant and everything's going to be good. Not understanding that grants are the icing and the cherry on top that help you supplement what you're already doing. So if you don't have individual donations on the nonprofit side, or like some type of fee for service, crowdfunding, or what we call like GoFundMe campaigns, things like that, or on the business side, if you're not making earned revenue already, it's going to be hard to convince somebody that you don't know, because connections matter, angel funders matter. I got it 1,000%. But in a common place, they're going to want to see that you're already managing and stewarding and receiving funds. And this is just going to amplify your work versus starting and being a catalyst to your work.
That is such a good point, because if you are not willing to invest in yourself, why would you expect somebody else to invest in you?
Exactly.
Like, this is not rocket science, right? What I've heard you both say is that you need to have a plan in your personal life, and you need to have a plan in your professional business life.
Yeah.
The consistent theme here is having a plan. You have to know what you want. You have to have systems and processes in place. And so and I'm thinking, this women are, mostly our particular audience. And some things that, we often, there are many things that we as women, have to overcome, those negative messages and self-talk and all of that. But one thing that we have challenges with is asking for the help that we need. Asking for the help that we need. So I'm going to ask both of you this question from two different angles. What are the things that we need to be asking for? What is the help? And I want to talk to you, Sheleia, as it relates to like donations.
Okay.
We're afraid to ask for things as it relates to our nonprofit. And when we're thinking about those asks, what things do we need to have in mind? Right?
Yeah.
What do we need to have in mind as it relates to the asks that we make for donations? But even when we're thinking about like our financial plans, what questions do we need to have those answers to? So, I mean, whoever's ready to respond to that, please feel free, because I've got to know the answer to this.
So I will start out by saying, even if you're not the most extroverted personality, you can still ask for money. So what people tend to not know about me is I am very introverted. I recharge by myself and a little bit of Netflix. But by calling, I have to be extroverted. I have to be in community. And that's okay. Me and God we reconciled that a long time ago.
Not about you, right?
It is not about me.
That's right.
Yes. So one of the things that, know thyself, and know how you can do what you're called to do, regardless of what your personal, I don't want to say limitations, what your personal preferences are. So one thing that I would do both when I was in the corporate setting and now that I'm in the entrepreneurship side is that I'm going to work with what I already know within the energy level that I have.
Oh,
so
that's good.
First of all,
that's a life lesson.
That's a life lesson. So I'm not going to ask for money when I know I'm tired or I have a full week of conversations, So I'm very strategic over my schedule. I have certain days where I'm being, where I do certain things. So that's first. So I would say the first thing, know ourselves, make a plan where you're comfortable and you can do what you do at the best of your ability. The second thing is to overcome the limitation in your mind that asking for donations can be as hard as people tell you that it is. Funders are people too.
So good.
So just as much as we're having a conversation here and it's natural, it's flowing, it's the same thing with a funder. When you have those aligned priorities, so whether you're in youth development, you're in workforce development, mental health, when you find your people, the conversations just flow.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not just talking about what you need, we're talking about impact. So when I start the conversation out with, this is the work that we're doing, this is what we're going to need for the next step, and this is how you can help. And this is a conversation over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a date. I'm not going on the first day saying, hey, you want to marry me.
Right.
I'm getting to know more about you. So it's not a fast, hard and fast process, but as you get to know people and they get to know you, it's like, I believe in your vision so much, and you've presented it in such a way. Now I'm encouraged to give to you, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
And there's this mutual partnership with it. The second space that I would say is to, again, going back to our previous conversation, is knowing that there is no fast way to turn your finances around, whether you're a entrepreneur or you're a nonprofit ED. When you go into it with a sense of urgency because you feel like you're in lack, it's already going to come off not authentic.
Yeah.
So plan ahead. And if you didn't start 20 years ago with that tree, start today.
Yes.
If you need to turn around, maybe there's some other decisions that you can make, maybe like scaling back, or maybe, again, angel donors are a thing. Lean on your board to help you have that cash flow to help you get to that point. But don't rely on having new conversations with funders and expecting new money within 3 months. It might take you 6 months. It might take you take a year. But you want to do it when you're at a calm space for sure.
Yeah. You don't want to work out of desperation.
That's it. That's the word.
I
That's
have seen the direct effects of that, and you're not thinking clearly. You are in survival mode. So that's so good. I just love this conversation because it's coming back to the human element. I mean, it's coming back to humanity, right?
Yeah.
Like, talk to people, get to know them, know what you want, know what you need, and make a plan. That's communication.
Yes.
It's a plan is communication.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Shannon. So, I mean, what about you? I know you have seen a lot. I know about your Women, Wealth, and Wisdom offering that you do for, organizations and that. So I'm sure through that process, you have heard some questions and some challenges around asking for what you need.
Yes. So, and I mirror what you say, Shelia, when it comes to thy own self be true. You have to know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, be okay with that and say it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Right?
That's good.
Yes.
It's okay to not know, first and foremost, and say it. When you're in that space, you have to be honest.
Yeah.
And it is a vulnerable position to be in. That's why I took the opportunity to become a behavioral financial advisor, because first and foremost, whenever somebody says money, you think two things. Yay, I've got plenty, or oh my God.
Tell me why does money have such an emotional effect on you? You know what I mean? Like, you are so right. Like, when you have lots of money, you like, my day is good. Like, I'm just breezy, cool. Everything is well. And when you don't, you are just depressed. Like, you can't. Oh my God, you are so right.
It's there. So, BFA, because of that, when we founded Riverside Wealth Advisors, myself and my two team mates, our primary goal was to bring financial peace of mind, or is to bring financial peace of mind, because we don't know what we don't know.
Yes.
And so when you are in a space where you are in need of, or even if you're just ready to have a conversation about, because most of us do things knee-jerk, right?
That's true.
Right?
Reactive. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, something just happened. We lost a family member and there's no life insurance. We've got to do a GoFundMe. And then all of the families trying to figure out what to do. We're selling T-shirts and fish.
Oh, boy.
Right?
Yes.
And so at that point, people are ready to start asking questions. And then they don't know where to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Simple Google search, financial advisors, and say, I don't know what I don't know. I just know I need some help.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's okay.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay. There are so many folks who have said to me, I make this amount of money, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're absolutely right. You don't see it because if you don't have a budget,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing whatever you want to do with that money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is every dollar. Dave Ramsey, he talks about,
Mm-hmm.
you have to have a plan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to tell your money what it is supposed to do for
A
you.
destination for every
Dollar.
dollar, right? Like tell it where to go.
That's it.
Yeah.
A destination for every dollar. If you don't do it, guess what's going to happen?
It's going to go anywhere.
Boy.
It doesn't go anywhere.
Yes.
But again, we go back. I love what you said a moment ago. Time, talent, and treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If we focus on what we want to spend our time on,
Mm-hmm.
the talents that God has blessed us with,
Mm-hmm.
and also the treasure that God not only has blessed us with, but wants us to maintain, increase, and prosper.
Yeah.
Yes.
That, when you said that, my mind immediately went to Matthew's 25,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Matthew 25, the story of the talents.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
And when we're wise with what we do,
Mm-hmm.
with those
Come on.
talents that we've been blessed with,
Yes.
he immediately rewards you.
Yes,
it
he
is
does.
encouraged.
It's a law. It's a spiritual law. Yes. Yes.
The word tells us that we have to invest.
we
Yep.
do.
But fear,
We do. Yes.
fear says, if I put my money over there,
Mm-hmm.
I could lose it.
Mm.
That's good.
We have to leave fear behind and step out on our faith
Yeah.
and trust that
Mm-hmm.
what God has for you, it is for you.
Yes.
And he has put you here to grow and prosper.
Mm-hmm.
We have to recognize the kingship in us,
Yes.
the queenship
Yes.
in us,
So good.
right?
So good.
That gave me chills.
As soon as
Yeah.
we recognize those values of ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key.
These topics are just like personally, they're personal to me as well because my husband and I are on a journey to wealth building, and honestly, I just became informed about this when I was working at Thrivent.
Mm-hmm.
Like we didn't have a financial advisor before, and I did not really understand. And I shared that earlier. I thought you had to have a lot of money to have a financial advisor. So, we were saving, but we were not investing. And so I just, it's both and. It's having that advisor, but it's also having that faith. And this is a testimony that I want to share. I'm trying not to cry about it, but I knew that God would give me an opportunity to share it. I didn't realize it was going to be on this podcast. But, at our church, we have these this bad cards. It's like this challenge, where you're asking God for these bold, audacious goals, in your life. Mm-hmm. And so one of the challenges, the goals that I put on our card was that my husband and I could be philanthropists, that we could be more that we could be more generous in our giving. Yeah. And so I have been disciplined in my saving. When I left Thrivent and became an executive director for the Center of Innovation, I increased my salary, but I continued to live on my prior salary. So I was disciplined in saving and investing what I learned from Thrivent and investing that money. And believe me, I love to travel. So it was a challenge, and I love to shop online. Lord, forgive me. Help me. Deliver me from Shein. Deliver me. But it is, and I know I'm not allowed.
Not at all.
But it was a sacrifice, to be disciplined in that way. And God moves when you are not even realizing it or watching. Girl, I was in a meeting. And you know how you're in the meeting, but you kind of check your email that's coming through? Mm-hmm. I got an email that said that my student loans were forgiven.
Wow.
$133,000 of my student loans forgiven, which resets me to be able to be more generous in our giving.
Wow.
And I know that was a direct result of that prayer through those bad cards and asking God to bless us to be able to have more finances to give.
Yeah.
But I had to establish the discipline first, the sacrifice first. So it is a both and situation.
Yeah.
You have to walk in that faith, but you also have to do the work, because he said without the works, it's dead. But God will lead you to those people that you can trust. So to your point about doing your research, God will connect you to the right people, just like he led and connected me with you all.
Yes.
We are of the same family. Like, we are working together as sisters and supporting each other, but we're also working together professionally. Everybody that I know that needs a financial advisor, I'm speaking Shannon James' name, okay? I don't care how far removed I am working for Thriving Financial. I believe in that company.
Yes.
I love the values that it stands on, and I will always speak of Thriving and Shannon James.
Yeah.
And to your point, Sheleia, I have been praying for a grant professional. I wrote my first grant and got it, right?
Hey.
But that was something that I always told myself that I could not do. But through that process, I learned that that's not something that I want to do. That's not what I want to do. So I can be a partner with you, right? In the grants. You have to have a little bit of a context. Like you said, what do you want? What do you need? And I learned through that process that, baby, managing grant funding is a job. You always say, I want to be a millionaire. I want all this money. You have to manage that money.
Yes, you do.
And speak for first of all, predict what you think you're going to need it for. Because a lot of times it's for programs that haven't happened yet, right? But even the managing of it and tracking of it and all of that, it is work.
Yeah, it's
a
full-time job.
So if you can't do it in your personal life, you better practice in your personal life before you try to do it in your professional life and your business. So, like, what are those I wish I would have known? Like, we all have those I wish I would have known then, like what I know now. Like, what are those moments that come to mind from some of maybe the clients you work with, or even for you personally?
I actually have a running list. So every time I do.
I love that.
I have a running list. Every time I get some sort of understanding, I love to learn. Yes. If I don't learn something new each day, I feel like my day is a failure. Is that bad?
No.
But I feel that way.
No, that's living. That's what this podcast is all about. Like, challenging us to continue to grow and continue to learn.
And it's like, if I didn't learn something new. However, so these are just some key things when it comes to wealth planning, right? 1, seek wisdom and understanding.
Yeah.
Proverbs 14:1 emphasizes the value of wisdom and understanding, and it links it to wealth.
Shannon, I'm so sorry. But I have just got to make this point. I just don't want our audience to miss any of these nuggets, right? Because you just connected wisdom to wealth. And God says if you want it, you can ask for it. So what I'm trying to, I'm affirming for myself and for those that are with us, you have access.
Yes.
The access is there. You just have to ask for it and do the work. I'm sorry. That just like hit my spirit. I'm like, we say that we don't have this access, but we really do.
We do.
Yeah. We do. And you speak to my second point, diligence and hard work. Proverbs 31:17 and 18 illustrates the industrious woman who works hard, brings home profit to her household, and her persistence is essential to, again, building wealth.
Yeah.
So those are those nuggets, as you call them.
So good. Again, it doesn't say understand compound interest. It doesn't say know what a Roth IRA is.
Yeah.
Simple. Access, ask for it.
Yeah.
So good.
Yes.
So good.
Yes.
Sheleia, I'm sure that you have a wealth of those. I wish I knew then with your. I can imagine these grant stories because I'm just thinking about the lessons that I had to learn along the way in managing grants and writing grants and leaving off one bit of information that was asked on the application that I just happened to overlook and it declined the whole thing. Like, I can just imagine.
And if I can, I will answer this question from two parts. So personally, going along this line of thought of we have it available, I'm, as of right now, currently working and concretizing in my mind, like it is God's desire that I prosper. Not just material prosperity, that's part of it, but that I'm whole in all aspects of my being and I'm in good health. So in entrepreneurship, we can have, if the sales aren't right one month, we can get stressed. I'm feeling anxious. I'm doing this, that, and the third. And I have to stop myself and say, this is not the Lord's desire for me.
Yeah.
So if I knew then what I knew now, what I'm really trying to like, y'all pray for me, just making it a part of my identity. Like, just because this is happening circumstantially, this is not the end of it, you know? So I would say that first, personally. Professionally, what would I know then? Sometimes people just don't read instructions and we have to over-communicate. You know, and professionally, we as grant writers, grant professionals, grant researchers have to have some level of protection to make sure that when those things happen, it's not a liability on us. So when I first started out, I didn't have a contract. And it was only by the grace of God that I worked with people that I trusted and that trusted me and my character. So when we talk about all these things and wisdom and access and prosperity, first of all, God expects us to be people of integrity and people of good character in order for those blessings to flow. And then you get a level of protection with that. But then when I started learning, y'all, about contracts and this is what you do and insurance and all of that, I was like, man, I can't believe I was operating for that long without that in place. And especially in our line of work, because organizations depend on that funding, and a small mishap, like you said, can get the whole thing thrown out. And if it comes down the pipeline, like, oh my goodness, this was an S&P issue, that could put me in a lot of trouble. So I'm just grateful to God, one, that a really, really loved one, dear of mine, I always say God looks out for babies and fools.
Yes.
So thank you that while I wasn't trying to be foolish, but I was a baby. You looked out for me. And when you get that wisdom, it's not that you, like you said, continue to operate in the same way.
Yes.
The more you know, the more you have to, what is it? When you know better, you do
better. Yes.
So if I knew then what I knew now, just allow the process of evolution to take place and grow professionally, and then your standard for excellence as you serve others always increases. So who I was 4 years ago when I started, I'm not now. And then even beyond this, a decade from now, who knows where S&P is going to be? I just know it's going to be better than today, because now I'm accountable to those talents that God has given me and to multiply that. If I want to stay in business and I want to keep doing what I'm doing for His kingdom, I have to continue to grow. And I just thought, I thought it was stagnant. Is it static? Yeah. And God like, no, you can't stay at the same place. Just because it's good here, like, come on.
Yes.
Higher. I'm calling you higher.
Higher
even
and
if
higher.
It's uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah. I always say everything that we need to know in life, we can learn from nature. God created that. And so even just how flowers grow, how trees grow incrementally, right? And we have to continue to be willing to grow. So that really just makes me think about like resources, knowing where to go to grow. So when we think about like financial wisdom and learning more, what are some resources that you, both of you, could share, that relate to maybe where we can find grants or where we should be looking, or where we can look for financial wealth resources?
All right. So first and foremost, Thrivent offers an awesome program that is absolutely free. And everyone that I work with, I insist that they go through this program, and it's Money Canvas.
That's a good one.
Money Canvas actually gives you an opportunity to see vividly and in color what you're bringing in, what your primary expenses are, and what you are actually spending on any given occasion. It's a wonderful resource for folks to have a real visual of what's happening. A lot of times we don't think about what's coming in and where it's going.
Yeah.
That's the
You have to see it.
You
have to see it. And I love the visual piece of that, right? It shows you where your money is actually going, like in a dial.
In true living color.
In true color. So you can see if you've got this little sliver over here for savings and the rest of it is on spending on shoes and clothes and all that. It's like,
okay.
I better fix that. You can't unsee it.
Exactly. So that's one resource. Financial advisors, again, I say this because our primary role as advisors is to help people develop a strategic plan for their finances. It is absolutely wonderful to make the money. Yes. Right? But how do we best prepare for the tax bill?
That part.
How? Right?
Yeah,
how do we best ensure that we are prepared for the what ifs in life? And how are we in making sure that that what you have actually extends to the time in life when you're ready to relax and enjoy the fruits of your labor?
Yes.
It's funny. Pastor last night said he's got his youngest child in college. She told him she was growing. He says, "No, honey, you grown. You gone, and you can't come back." But he's like, this is the time in life where me and my wife get to do me and my wife.
I love that.
Right?
Chip, can we just take a moment to shout out pastors that are financially fiscal, that live a balanced life? Pastor David Hawkins and Lady V, I'm going to shout you out at Living the Word Church.
Amen.
It is such a blessing to have that security and to see that our leaders are first of all, have financial health, right? Personally. And that they are demonstrating that through our church body. And we are seeing God multiply his blessings upon our congregation. Sheila and I are church members together. So we are seeing the fruit of that. So thank God for your pastor that he is balanced. Let's shout him out too. Let's shout him out.
We are going to shout out our pastor, Superintendent Edgar O. Madison. When it comes to being financially, he has a serious money mindset.
That's good.
It's biblical. Oh, it's a blessing.
It's a blessing.
It's a blessing when you can see your leaders actually practicing real life stewardship and instilling the growth of the community.
It is such a blessing, and it is an anomaly. I'm just going to put it out there. You don't see it everywhere.
It's not common.
It is not common. And especially in our community. I mean, let's just keep it real. It is not. So it is truly a gift when you have a leader that is, as you said, values wealth, has a strong money mindset, but is also led by the Spirit. It's a winning. I know my pastor here is God.
Amen.
I know.
Amen.
For a fact that because we see it in the fruit. We see it in the fruit of the ministry.
And he always invests in the next generation. So there was if I remember the name correctly, it was an emerging leaders class.
Yes.
And if I've been a part of our church for years now, and if I had any doubts before, when I took that class, it literally took my understanding from principle to actual practice when it came to money and it came to entrepreneurship and how we need to move our money and how God desires for us to manage our money. And in our community, it's two extremes. It's either serve God with a poverty mindset or we're going to have prosperity gospel.
Yes.
And it was the perfect balance. And I'm grateful that we have pastors and ministers and people who understand, like, hey, we got to live this day to day and have a balanced understanding of it.
Yeah.
And definitely when it comes I'm very practical. Maybe it's the millennial in me. I'm like, I understand what the word says, but how says we're not just supposed to take it, but how are we supposed to apply it? So shout out, shout out to them for changing, renewing.
Yes.
That's what the Bible says, renewing our minds to be able to be successful in that manner.
Even we share these resources on this podcast because we want to inform, our audience, but we also want them to be activators, right? So if you don't have this experience in your church or your community, reach out to Thrive In, and I'm sure there are other organizations that offer wealth information like wealth education, financial literacy. Yes. And if your pastor is not aware of that, right, we are a body. We need each other. You be the one to ask for that. You be the one to do the research. And that's right. Be that trailblazer and share that as a resource for your community. Ladies, it has been an extreme pleasure. It has been an extreme pleasure talking. Money is something that we all have to have a conversation about. I love that this is a proactive conversation, right? No matter where you are with it, you can start today.
That's it.
Right? Yes. So I just truly appreciate you all walking in excellence and walking out your calling and being leaders in the financial space because we need you. We need you. And for those of you that are listening today, this has been an amazing, informative episode. So don't keep this goodness to yourself. Don't do it. If you love today's episode, do me a favor and subscribe, leave a review, and be a connector by sharing this episode with somebody that you know that needs this message. And remember, your bold life is waiting. You just have to say yes to it. You've gotten several nuggets today about ways that you can take action to level up in your finances. So until next time, stay bold, stay fearless, and be a connector.